Before we talk about any drama stuff, we should have Cameron be on, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed, to talking him about it, right? Like to fill him in on the exact same things, right? I mean, I've talked to Lachlan about this already, eh? So it wouldn't be that big a deal for me.
Where
All
are you
right.
going tomorrow anyway?
I'm going to see my father tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh
Sunday.
yeah, that's right. He sees his dad Sundays.
Yeah, I might. Cameron, I don't think Cameron's gonna be. I don't think Cameron's on right now, so I might just
Uh,
call him. Eh?
yeah,
Call him?
he says he's doing important things with Thea right now.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can just call him and talk to him, right?
All
At
right.
some point. So
Okay, well,
I would have done
why don't
this.
you...
I would have done this sooner, but I'm sorry. I don't know what else to tell you besides that I now work a full time job. Okay,
Yeah.
and it's
Uh-huh.
just, I mean, yeah. Okay. So, before we get into this, I'm going to tell you that there are quite a few things that I am sorry about, and there are quite a few things that I'm not sorry about. So, should you expect this to be Noah gets on his hands and knees and apologizes for everything? That's not going to be what this is. Okay?
Okay.
So, just
I promise to hear your side, so I will.
yes, right. So, thank you. Well, I mean, I suppose we start from the beginning, right?
Yes.
What is today?
Today is the 2nd of September.
Okay, you'll have to forgive me on days because it's been uh over a week now, right? So
Yeah.
whenever I'm recalling things from over a week ago, if I'm not getting it on the exact date, sorry, right? So, um, it was probably 11 days, eh, 10 or 11 days. It was a couple of weekends ago, right now, where, I was hanging out with Zion, and Hallie, and Zion got tired and he went to bed. So Hallie took me home, right? And whilst we were going home, I mean, we had really AIDS mean conversations and it was really funny and I enjoyed doing it. So the two of us decided to just go and drive around one night and just do that same shit, right? Talk about rotting. The two of us rot quite a bit about not really, the same things, right? But it's just like, oh, you have problems with, mental stuff, and I do, we connect about it and we talk about it and we meme about it and it's funny, right? And that's what we did. So we did that for quite a long time. That first time we did it, right? It was 18 hours or so, I think, from, I don't remember exactly what time, right? It was uh, 11 o'clock, I think, to, I don't, 11 o'clock, 18 hours. Doesn't matter too much, right? About what time period. That's just about how long it lasted, right?
18 hours?
Yeah.
That's quite a long time to, like, be gone.
Uh, I was having a good time. I I don't know what else to say. We literally sat basically in a vehicle for 18 hours, driving around, listening to music, and talking about stupid shit. And it was fun. I enjoyed doing it. Something that I had never really done before, right? I mean, none of us have ever really done something like that together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going out at night. I like going out at night, right? I would go out and drive more at night, but my car's a piece of shit. But that's besides the point. Uh, it was fun. I enjoyed it, and I mean, we can. Well, let's go over that day somewhat more into detail because there were some things that happened with Zion that day, right? So, Zion, um, I had my phone off, but he did text me, and I did see it later on whenever I turned back on. He did ask us what we were doing, right? And where we were, basically, I believe, asking if we were all right. Right? And we didn't end up getting back to him until like probably 4 hours, right? After he sent it.
Yeah.
And
He said
we
he said that it was the next day after he had already finished sleeping.
he it was 4 hours. It's timestamped. We talked with Zion about this. That the night that we had that argument with Zion, right? Um, or Hallie and I, right? Whenever we sat down with him and everything, he's like, because he got upset, right, about it, and he brought it up as a point. And it was 4 hours or so after he had, messaged us asking, basically when we were coming back, and stuff like that. Right? It was about 4 hours. So I'm at least fairly for certain it was. And because we called him on Discord at like 9 o'clock, right, that day, uh, the next morning, right? So after 11 or whatever. And we talked to him and he asked us, you know, what we were doing. And we made a fake leg literally on the spot, right? Like sitting down, it's like, oh well, what could we be doing that's like funny? And that Zion be like, no way, nowhere you're doing that. We're like, oh, okay, we're in Gatlinburg right now, Zion. Yep. This, just Smoky Mountain Knife. Oh, Noah's coming back to the car right now. I'm sitting literally in the passenger seat. I open the door and just shut it to be like, oh, hey, I'm back. You know, damn, Smoky Mountain Knife Works was good, right? It was just to like be a fucking meme, right? Like an instant on the spot meme. And I even fucked up during it because I'm like, yeah, it's like, Gatlinburg's like 12 hours away. Gatlinburg's not 12 hours away, it's 5 hours away. Okay. So I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm already fucking up in it, during it. I'm like, Zion's gonna call me out on it, but he didn't, right? He thought that's where we were, right? So we uh didn't really feel like stopping, right? At that point, so we're just like, okay, oh, well, we'll see you later today, Zion, right? After we, get back, and we hung up, and we thought about making, like, obviously it's telling you we're 12 hours away is not true, right? So we thought about getting like a little cake and like putting like, oh, got this from Gatlinburg for you, Zion, and coming back like 2 hours later. And then he obviously would have known it was fake, right? Because just time discrepancies, right? Doesn't really matter. We made fake leg and uh he got upset because he thought it was true, right? And that we were actually there and that we didn't go, and that we didn't bring him with us. I am inclined to believe that he was upset that we didn't bring him with us, to begin with, even though, hold on, one of you just send me something? No, it wasn't. Can you hear me all right, by the way?
Yeah, I
Yes.
can.
Okay. Uh, yeah, I think Zion got upset to begin with that he wasn't able to go, even though Zion has explained to me before that being in a vehicle for extended periods of time is basically agonizing to him because his legs like get fucking stiff and he literally sits there and beats them to get the blood flowing back into them or to keep them flowing, like to keep it flowing. So, I mean, I don't think he would have enjoyed it in the slightest, not even a little bit.
He's been on
Right?
long trips before.
Yes, but it's like,
He enjoyed the
well,
Mothman trip we did.
yeah, but I guess, but I'll get to another thing because whenever after that day, right? After that day, we were like, that was great. Right? It was fun. Bunch of funny shit happened, and we were like, that was really good. We didn't end up telling Zion that it was a fake leg, um, that day, right?
But why?
So he still believed it. Well,
Well,
we wanted to call him out on us
okay,
for one, right?
I guess. But
It's like the Nick thing,
if he was like
like the
upset
Nick thing.
about it,
Yeah.
let's not like the
I
Nick thing because Nick was upset after he figured it out.
uh fair enough. Eh? I didn't know to the extent of how upset he was that probably that day, but he did end up sending me a thing later on. And I'll have to go back and look at his message that he sent me, right? But he did send it to me, or did send me something talking about quite a few things, right? And yeah, and it's one of the things that I did that I will admit to, doing wrong here is that whenever Zion was talking to me about the things that he, that was bothering that day. I wasn't able to help him very well. And I didn't help him very well at all, and I feel bad about it. But there are, more reasons behind that that you guys obviously know about now because I don't know how long he talked to you guys for, but it was probably quite a while. I and you know, yeah, okay. So we'll put a pin in that and we'll come back to it later because I'm gonna keep going through the timeline. We did that day and um for the next 3 days, right? Because that was the weekend. For the next 3 days, I ended up coming over to their apartment before went to work just to sit around and talk, right? Because I had nothing else to do. I was waking up 3 or 4 hours before I had to go into work, so I was going to their apartment and sitting there and shooting shit, talking about dumb stuff. And um, I ended up bringing over a meme gift, which was Rocco. That whenever we went to Walmart, right, to
Yeah.
get that shit, that's some of the stuff that I'm like, oh, I'll make the meme thing with this stuff. Is why that's what that stuff
Okay.
was for,
All
right?
right.
So that's what I did. Went over there. Then Wednesday, I believe, was Zion's birthday, so I went over there for Zion's birthday, right? And in the morning, and then I went over there the day after that, right? Because there was a disagreement of sorts between he and Hallie that I attempted to do my best to listen to both sides, right, and sort of quell anything that was going on, but I probably didn't do a very good job. Eh, despite
What I
despite
heard about that was that Zion on his birthday got plastered,
yeah, he did.
and you guys got into an argument.
When
Uh,
did we get into an argument
that
on his birthday?
night,
We didn't.
I think, right?
He and Hallie might have gotten into one. I didn't argue with Zion on his birthday, but he did get drunk. Right,
Okay.
in that morning too, like during that morning, right? Because Zion, I mean, whenever he gets upset, he drinks, right, and he smokes. So
Yeah.
you know, he was doing that. I mean, had to go to work, so I figured he'd be okay. But anyways, yeah, I mean, I forget. Did you say that? Did Zion and I argue that night?
Uh,
You said
I think so.
I
because we did
believe
not.
I believe this is the night where uh wasn't it the night where you walked with Zion and then walked with Hallie?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that also the night that you basically told Hallie about all of Zion's
No,
private things he said to you?
no, no. That's a different night. That was
Okay.
that upcoming. That was that weekend. Like that's from Wednesday. That's like 4 days later. Um,
Well, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
yes. So Wednesday, Zion's birthday. He did that. Came over there on Thursday. Uh, what did we do on Thursday? Um, Thursday was their argument. That I helped them with, right? That I walked around and talked with them about and stuff like that. Yes. So Friday. What did we do Friday? No, it wasn't 4 days. It was more like two because Friday was the day that um Friday slash Saturday, right?
Yeah, that's the 25th.
Yeah, yeah. So Friday slash Saturday, that you know um night was whenever Hallie and I went on another drive, right? And then it Friday night, and then Saturday morning. It went in. No, it was almost all of Saturday as well. I
Well,
so
what happened on
Friday,
Friday?
um, we talked. I mean, I talked with Zion and Hallie for quite a long time, maybe 3 hours in Target parking lot about things, right?
In the
That you
parking lot?
guys, yeah, in the Target parking lot, yeah.
Yeah, I know you went to Target.
Yeah, so I talked with them about. I mean, you guys already know probably about what, right? So, yeah, I talked with Zion and Hallie about that, uh, things that had transpired, emotional things, regarding myself, eh?
I've heard all
So,
of it. I've
yeah.
heard yeah.
Okay, so you know that. So I talked with Zion about that, right? And I talked with Hallie about it in the Target parking lot for probably 3 hours, and it was fine, right? It was a good talk. Zion's like, I don't feel, mad towards about this, right? I don't feel, like, he told me that it was fine, right? So, you know, that happened, and then after we were, done at Target, we ended up going back to their apartment, and Hallie and I wanted to talk about that privately, eh? To sort of sort things out because granted, it does involve Zion, but right, it was more of a my my issue like towards her type deal, if that makes sense, right?
All
I
right.
mean,
So
I think I think that I mean, it's is it really a you two problem when Zion's that heavily involved?
Zion is involved, right? I don't think Zion's involvement is as big as mine and hers involvement. I'll tell you that. Okay? Because I was the one who developed those feelings, and she was the one who they were towards. But Zion was just kind of like a middle in between it. Like a
Yeah,
middle, he's just involved in it like that, right?
he's a big middle due to them being together.
I I don't. I'm going to say that I don't agree that it's as big as you are probably thinking. But I I talked with Zion for 3 hours about the same types of deal, like the same thing, right? So it's not as though that I just don't think that he was, shouldn't have been a part of it because he obviously is involved in it, and I talked with him extensively about it for 3 hours, right? So yes, there is that, eh?
So you two
I
went off together where?
we went a bunch of different places, right? It was kind of like our first time that we went like around driving, right?
I
And we
thought that
just
was on the Gatlinburg thing.
yeah, I'm relating it to because that's what we just did that entire bait fuck time, right? We drove, right? We sat there
Mhm.
like driving and just talking. We talked about for one, what we were talking about at Target, right? And it was just, I mean, it went fine. It's just like she didn't blame me, you know, or anything like that, and it 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 felt good, right? It felt good not to be, you know, shamed for something like that, if that makes sense, right?
Aimed for you liking
Yeah,
her?
yeah. I, because it's not as if I just woke up one day and was just like, okay, well, here we go. Ha ha ha. Time to develop this. You know what I mean? It was something that just,
It happens.
yeah, right.
Unbeknownst to
So
people, it just sort of happens.
it was nice to not be, you know, shamed, right, or blamed in a sense, So we talked about it quite a bit, and then we just decided to treat that time as just like another one of the hangout things that we were doing, right? And I think that was probably something healthy to do, so to show that there's no animosity, right? And that's what I felt while doing it, right? And it felt nice, and we did go quite a ways away just to just to do it, right? We drove to St. Louis literally just to drive there. We didn't even fucking get out of the car. We just literally drove by. Oh, hey,
So
there's the arc.
you
Okay,
slept
let's
in
go
the
back.
car then.
Mm, we didn't sleep. We didn't sleep, Maverick.
How many hours was this?
Quite a long time. Or did we sleep? We might have had to have napped for a little bit. Like lean the seats back, actually, come to think of it. My days are getting blurred here. Slightly. So I think we actually might have.
Okay.
Like pull into a rest stop and just lay back, like, neither of us could fucking drive because we're so tired, right? And just, I'm
Yeah.
gonna sleep for a few hours, okay, get back up and drive, right? And just continue. Okay. So it was actually probably like that. But we got back to Indiana and just like kept going around. While this was going on, I had my phone off. I don't keep my phone on whenever I don't have internet because I actually I cannot do anything right with it basically. So I just keep it off. Zion was blowing up her phone, angry. Eh? He was angry for one that she, uh, well, that day, or not that day, really on his birthday. On his birthday, that previous Wednesday, she was talking to him about wanting to do something with him for his birthday, right? She's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, because I asked her, I'm like, oh, when do you want to go drive next? She's like, well, I can't do it, this coming Friday because I was wanting to go and do something with Zion for his birthday. And she was talking to him that morning extensively about, what he wanted to do. And I'm pretty sure she asked him every day up until then what he wanted to do. And he's just like, oh, I don't know. I don't really like getting out. I kind of just like sitting in the house, and just doing that. I mean, he didn't give her an answer, right, that morning, right, whenever I was there. So I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. They'll do something on Friday. But I mean, that Friday rolled around and we were talking at Target and he just still hadn't just still hadn't said anything, right, about what he wanted to do. And whenever we were taking him back to the apartment because we were going to go and have that, private talk and drive, he was like, I got stuff I got to do today. I'm like, oh, okay. So that just works out perfect. We were going to go and talk about this. He's like, yeah, I got stuff I got to go and do. I got stuff I got to do at the apartment. So we took him back and he flopped down on the couch and instantly started playing Animal Crossing. And then, we went and started that St. Louis. I'll just refer to it as St. Louis, drive, right,
Okay.
from now on. And
Right.
later on, he started blowing up her phone. It started out with stuff like, I thought we were going to do something today. Like shaming her for going and doing this, even though he actually could have spoken up one single time before he went and started it, but he didn't. Nor did he speak of that any time before she asked him that, day of his birthday, what he wanted to do. Right. So that kind of pissed her off. Right. And she's like, I don't really feel like talking to him. So she ignored him. Right. And he just kept being kind of a fucking asshole. Like in his messages, like, just, I mean, so she didn't answer him, right? And I kind of don't blame her for not answering him. So, I mean, all of his, I'm pretty, she still has all of his fucking messages, like he sent, obviously, right? So, I mean, I guess if you ever wanted to know some of the things that, he said, I could ask her if she wanted to send them, right? If you wanted to see them, right?
All right.
So
Yeah, we
that,
do want those.
Yeah.
oh, okay, fair enough. So that happened, right? And later on that day, Zion, I turned my phone back on for a little bit. Zion called me basically almost 5 minutes after I turned it back on. And he was like, where are you guys? And we're just like, I mean, we drove down to, where we go fishing, right? At Lake Lemon, right? We drove down there and we're just like sitting there, basically killing time. He called me and he asked, where we were and stuff like that. And I I will tell you right now, I cannot remember the exact conversation. Zion said he would try to find a way to get the phone fucking conversation, but I don't think he would do that. Hey, so I mean, I guess this is going to be sort of my word against him. But I remember him calling, him being, you know, him sounding slightly angry, right?
I
And
At this point, I would say that he would be confused on the situation and therefore he would be agitated.
hmm which understandable, right? Because if you look at it from the stance of, I mean,
He doesn't know what's going
this
on.
person just admitted to having feelings for the person who I'm with, and now they went off on a 24-hour long excursion, right?
Yeah.
But Zion had told Hallie that he trusted me with his life, actually, not even a day before, right? So, I mean, I kind of don't believe that. I think that Zion was just you know jealous the whole time, right? He just didn't want to say it. So, you know, that's what I think, at least. Eh?
Well, he
So,
did
because
say that
it can't be both, right?
he
I
did say
mean,
that he was jealous, and then you went on the trip, the St. Louis one, right?
he said that he felt as though he couldn't, he felt as though he couldn't make Hallie happy. I believe is what he said. Eh? Or he might have told her that, right? Because if we're going from what he sent me, like that one night via messages, I think he sent me that, right? I can go back and just look at it
At
because I
what
still
point
have.
along the line did you figure out that Zion didn't want you to like do this stuff?
I didn't, because literally that uh, he had told me. He had told me after that first thing that even though he did, even though he felt a certain way, he didn't want Hallie and I to stop doing it because he wanted her to have a friend, right? He made that a point to tell me that, right? But I mean, if Zion would have come out and told me literally that day that he didn't want me to do it anymore, I probably wouldn't have done it anymore, right? But he didn't tell me that. He did not tell me that. So I then went on from there thinking that, I'm not going to be ashamed of having a good time, doing this, right? Because he
And
told me
what
not
what
to.
and
So,
what day was that on?
it was after the first time, right? It was after that the first one we did. He did tell me that after that first time, because he's like, Hallie came home and she cried, right to him about, how much, how fun of a time she had, right? And he's like, yeah, even though I can't remember exactly what he said about, like, in the terms of like how it made him feel. He said that, I think he told me uh that he was a little hurt that he wasn't able to go to Gatlinburg with us, right? But he I specifically remember him telling me that, he didn't want me to feel bad about it, right? Because it was his, it was just his, thing that he had to, like, not feel bad about, because, we had a good time and he wanted us to have a good time. So, I don't remember exactly what day. It might have been one day after the first time that we did it, right? Because he did tell me that. And because if he would have told me to not fucking do it anymore, then I would not have done it anymore. But he didn't. And he didn't tell me to do it. He didn't tell me that either during the fucking before the second time happened, right? Because I wouldn't have done it that second time either if he had told me. But he didn't. So, uh, does that answer? Like, what do you want to know?
Yeah, I've got so why did you basically tell Hallie all of Zion's vents that he had?
I ended up telling her that, and you can choose to not believe me, right? As to why, because I mean, I can see how things look, right? But I'm just going to tell you this right now. As I said, I didn't just wake up one day and just decide today is the day Zion's home life is over. I am going to destroy it. Didn't think that. That's not how that fucking went. And the reason why I ended up telling her is because we had a good time. Sorry. Ugh. We had a good time that second time, right? Just as we had a good time that first time. And it was nice to talk to her about things and to know that she didn't hold some sort of resentment towards me for feeling a certain way. So, I mean, the topic really kind of got brought up because of the way Zion was acting, right? And it's just, I started thinking about, the things that Zion had told me. and just about their relationship in general, right? Because Zion had, I mean, I'm probably not anymore, but Zion was my best friend, right? I mean, out of everybody in the group, right? And he came to me and he talked to me about things and he would tell me things and he would vent to me about things. And he would ask me advice, right? He would ask me advice on his relationship and he would tell me, well, Noah, just like, what do I do about this, 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 and this? I'm like, okay, well, Zion, these are problems. Problems can get solved through. So just, you should probably do this, this, and that. And then, a month later, whenever those problems were still going on, and Zion would come back and be like, oh, well, this is going on. I'm like, Zion, why isn't this resolved? Right? Like, I mean, you asked me this exact same shit, however long ago. Why isn't this getting resolved? Right? So basically, that day, I started to think that perhaps, the things that Zion was telling me either were extremely embellished or they were just lies, right? Because if you're going through and having these same problems over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and they're not getting solved, it's either because, you're not talking about it, right, with your partner, or you're embellishing them and it's not really like that, or they're just lies, right? So that's why I ended up bringing up those things to her because she's that other part of the half of the relationship. And I wanted to I wanted to bring these things up to her, not only because she had become my fucking friend at that point, and some of the things that Zion had said were, probably some things that she needed to know and that they should fucking talk about. Right. So, I mean, that's why. I, that's why. And I mean, we talked about, those things. And I mean, a lot of the things that I ended up telling her that Zion had told me, it's just like, well, it's he said, she said type deal, right? Or it's just like, I mean, a lot of the stuff that I told her, she said, wasn't true, right? And after getting to spend time with her and see what her personality is actually like, unlike things that Zion has pushed in the past, i.e., she's a crazy fucking liberal, this, and this, and I don't think that way, right? And I know that a lot of you guys have formulated your opinions just basically based on what Zion has told you, right, about her. So, I mean, I would encourage you, and I think that you guys were getting there, right, with Call of Cthulhu, right, because you guys are having a good time during Call of Cthulhu,
Oh
right?
yeah, it's great.
So, yeah, so I think that you were getting there, but I mean, she's not a bad person, right? And some of the things that Zion had told me that she had done to him and everything like that, after getting to know her, I didn't believe them. So I brought them up to her. And I'm inclined to believe that, she's in the right here because whenever we went back to talk to Zion about these types of things, and she told me, this is how Zion's going to react to this because this is how he always reacts to stuff like this. He gets irate, fucking pissed off, and does this because we wrote down a list of those things to talk with Zion about after he was done talking with, about the things that he wanted to talk about him, just shit. We made a list of things that we wanted to bring up, and this was like, obvious. This was a done in that they needed to talk about it, right? So we did it. We listened to Zion that night whenever we got back, and then as soon as we started opening up and about that thing, the things that I told her, he instantaneously acted the exact same way she sat there and told me not even 10 minutes before we went inside. This is how he's going to react because this is how he reacts every time we argue. And he acted the exact same way. I've never seen Zion get angry until that night. And it was pretty bad. So, we didn't even get one thing out, or I ended up getting out, I told her these things, Zion, and you're going to feel betrayed, but I felt like she needed to know some of these things, and he instantaneously got irate, pissed off about it, and like basically accused me of throwing acid onto his relationship to destroy it, right? So that's what happened with that. And we didn't even get that far into it because I wasn't going to talk to him about it whenever he's just like sitting there and he's already set in his mindset about how he thinks that I'm going about it, right? And that he thought that I was going about it to ruin his relationship whenever that's not what I was doing whatsoever. So, I mean, I knew that's what he was thinking. So I wasn't going to talk with him about it. I'm like, okay, Zion, well, I'm going to leave because, this isn't, going the way that it should go. And he just was like, no, don't worry about it. I'm leaving. And he just got up and left and then went, to you guys that night is what he did. So, yes. Is that, I think that covers all of that. Do you have any questions about that?
No questions about it on
Well,
my end.
Zion said that the reason he left that night was essentially because you and Hallie were being assholes and are seemingly unconcerned by the points that he brought up.
As
We weren't
well,
unconcerned about those points. I will say that because I did feel bad. I will admit to fault about the whole Gatlinburg thing with Zion because that wasn't handled very well, right? I admit to that, and I'm willing to do so, right? And it wasn't we were feeling unempathetic about it because I instantly felt bad about it, and I told him I felt bad about it then. So, like, okay, sorry to interrupt you. Keep going.
uh,
Sorry.
hmm,
So, so because you didn't give your side like very quickly, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand, and I was kind of angry, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I didn't.
and I'll tell you, until like actually yesterday, I was also so extremely angry at you,
Yeah,
I
and I'll tell you what, and I was like talking shit about you, right, in the No Noah chat, right? Which
I
is
knew there was
actually
no Noah chat.
it's called the feels bad chat is what it is because it feels bad, right?
Yeah, and I knew that existed.
And yes,
Yeah.
and I will tell you I was but until like actually yesterday I just kind of am starting to feel like depressed about it.
I
Yes, and I also
And
feel bad about it because I've lost my best friend. So,
I'd say that the chances of working this out is low, but I'm telling you I can't really trust you or Zion, and that's why Zion has, pasted all of his conversation and text to me and all of us, and we have our own little timeline, right?
okay. Yeah,
If you want your side to be believed, I know it's like a violation of privacy and all that, right? But you're
yeah,
gonna
sure.
basically have to paste everything from your and Hallie's private chat to us.
Um,
And I know it's embarrassing, but really that I want you to know that your situation isn't good. You know what I mean? And while I was
yes.
pissed, I was like, and we were all like really mad at you and we still are. Uh I don't think anyone's on your side on this actually.
I would like to interject here and say, as someone who has not been in the group for long, is nearly as long as you've known Zion, both of you, especially you, Maverick, you're his uncle, base literally.
Yeah, I've
Uh,
known Zion since he was born.
yeah, it
I literally held him as a baby. So
4-year-old holding a baby.
yeah, I mean we lived together for
Yeah,
years.
I am, and Noah, I know that you find me annoying sometimes. I mean, who doesn't find anybody annoying sometimes? It's just the way it
Yes,
is.
fair enough.
I
Listen,
don't
I'm
hold
gonna.
you any animosity against you, but I hate to see a friendship like this destroyed. That I, as in far as this whole thing, I would like to believe I'm as neutral as I can be before making any decisions. I heard Zion out. I'm like, okay, this is what he feels like he needs to do. And so I helped him with whatever he thought he needed to do. And now I would like to help you with whatever you feel like you need to do to get this entire thing resolved. I don't want to see
Um,
a precious friendship go down the drain.
Now look,
so here's
yeah, go
here's
ahead
the
and
thing
hear.
about that. Yeah. I've kind of already come to the acceptance that obviously Zion and I are probably never going to be able to like be the same, uh, probably ever, right? Because
It
of this,
it would take
I've
quite a
come to,
long time.
yeah, I've come to like accept that over this past week, right? Whilst like working and everything like that. But basically, my main like focus hasn't been about repairing things with Zion because I didn't have much faith in that happening. Eh? So my main focus was going to be, I, I don't, want to obviously lose everybody because of this. Because I will tell you that I am not Adolf Hitler, incarnate. So I mean, I, I've, I did things that were probably bad decisions, but there are other things that I'm not ashamed about doing. So I mean, there is that. What were you going to say?
I'm gonna say so. There's a lot of things I want to say. So,
Yeah,
for one, you got to just trust me on this because I want things to work out in the best way possible. Okay.
yeah,
And what I'm going to give you as advice to have that work out is probably, I mean, we've all kind of agreed that this is the best thing for you to do. Okay.
okay.
And I'm adding one more. You have to try to, you know, so the main thing that we're all even mad about is that you're just like, you just seem to have like a cavalier attitude about the whole thing.
How so?
Well, I mean, it's
Also, how would you define cavalier?
like you're not willing to admit that you did anything wrong, essentially.
What
Well,
really contributed
that
to
was
that
like the
one,
first thing that I did whenever I,
yeah,
started this because have I ever been somebody that's done that before? No. It's okay to be wrong about things and to be, in the wrong. It's just like it's fine, right? As long as you admit to it.
yeah,
And I'm going to
Yeah,
tell you this right now. I'm not going to admit to anything that I don't believe, you know, was wrong, right? But I will admit to things that you know, I think is wrong. I mean, it's kind
well,
of just
laid
semantics,
out
right?
in like bullet points for what you think that you were wrong in doing.
Okay. I think I was wrong for not helping Zion, with his feelings more. Right.
About
Uh,
what specifically?
I, just whenever he sent me messages about being, uh, I mean, for one, he said it like he was feeling bad about like because it was this month, right? His stepmom died, right? For one, so he sent me stuff about that. And then he sent me, feeling bad about feeling. He sent me stuff about feeling bad about me and Hallie hanging out, right?
yeah,
Because he didn't want to, he didn't want to basically it's end a good thing, right? That
right,
we had started. So he talked about that. There were some other things, and I will tell you the reason why I didn't end up like, really going in and helping Zion like I have always done beforehand was because I felt absolutely abhorrently bad about catching feelings for Hallie, and I could barely even talk to him over fucking message, right? Because I felt awful about it. So I just kind of like, you know, fucking pulled in on myself and didn't give him the help that I had always given him before, right? So that's Bob, you know, number one bullet point there, right? We weren't considerate to Zion, considerate enough to Zion about, what he told me about, right? That that night. So there is that. I mean, I guess that kind of goes hand in hand. Didn't handle the Gatlinburg thing very well, um, at all. Well, I will admit to that. Um, Perhaps I should have asked him more about if, you know, he was truly okay, right? With Hallie and I doing that, like going around and driving and stuff like that. But I didn't end up doing that because he said he had made it a point to tell me that, it was okay that we did that stuff because he didn't want to, he felt bad about feeling bad about us doing it, right? And he didn't want us to, stop having a good thing because of the way that he was feeling, right? So that's why I didn't bring it up more. Okay. Um, I mean, I feel bad about everything now. Like what's happened, obviously, with Zion and I. Zion's my best friend. I mean, we had so many fucking hobbies that we started together and so many things that we did together, and now it's just like this, because of, just AIDS, right? But I mean, things that I will not admit to doing wrong, I won't admit to, or I won't admit to it being wrong that I had a good time with someone who I developed a close friendship with. I won't. Okay. So, I mean, I'll just tell you like this, even though like it wasn't really that long of a time because Hallie and I didn't know each other very well, right? Like on a, person to person like ality level until we started doing that stuff. But she very quickly became, good friends with me. And I don't have very many good friends, only you guys. She became that because of, she's someone who I would hang around, you know, outside of, if she wasn't, with this, just her personality is similar to us, believe it or not. Eh? So, I mean, she became that way, and I saw her the same way that I see fucking Rocco, right? Even though it only been like just over a week and she had become a good friend with me, just I saw her the same way that I saw Rocco and all of you guys. And it doesn't matter how many fucking years you guys have been friends with me. Rocco matters the same to me, even though I have not been friends with him for fucking 7 years like I have with you, Maverick, right? So it was the same thing with her, right? So I'm not going to admit to having or like to it being bad that I had a good time because I don't feel bad about having a good time. I feel bad that it, caused all of this, but I mean, I was having a good time with someone who I consider to be my friend. So there's that.
I don't think that you should feel bad about having a good time with a friend. I think you should feel bad about really poor decision making and a lack of effort in like
Communication.
considering Zion's feelings about this thing.
This entire thing is a communication mix-up nightmare.
And I'm telling you, you're gonna have to try to resolve it with Zion. And I know you don't think that that's possible, but it still could be. And I think you should make every effort to do so.
If you think it
Okay.
would be...
I think you're going to have to do that because I'm telling you, you are in danger of losing every friendship you have. You understand, right? I'm telling you
You
that.
know, I know, and I'm going to tell you this, you know, even though that would probably be the worst thing that could ever happen to me, in the end, it would be on I see it as not being on me because I would do my best, right, to tell Zion all of this, right? And just get through try to get through that. But I think at this moment that even if, I go about doing this that way, Zion's not going to be able to get over the way that he feels and, I feel differently about it, right? I don't think that he's going to be able to get over the feeling of like I just decided to home wreck everything that he had, even though his relationship was kind of dog shit to, at that point anyhow, right? So I mean, I just don't think he's going to be able to get over that, right? And
I know that it. I know that it's like
does that make sense?
I understand that you think it's like a not a reconcilable problem, but I mean, for God's sake, you pretty much have to.
Noah, this...
For God's sake, you at least have to try. And you at least gotta like I
Yeah.
think you gotta like swallow some of your pride and just say that you're sorry for hurting him. You know what I mean? Even though I
Well, I
know you
am
didn't
sorry
think
for hurting him.
I know you didn't think you were doing like wrong from your perspective, but I'm telling you, I mean, from our perspective, it's like kind of fucked up. Like it's
Noah,
pretty fucked up.
I
Yes.
understand not exactly the position you're in, but the type of position you're in. I have been in a position not of this magnitude, definitely not, but the swallowing of one's pride, you may think that you're swallowing enough, but you just have to, instead of taking a glass, take the pitcher. It hurts so much, but the amount it will save not only yourself, but the people around you in relationship, happiness, good times yet to come is immeasurable.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's just
Fair enough.
what you need to do is you pretty much have to paste your DMs with Hallie from the time it started to now, unedited, and paste that into this chat. And then we'll go over it. And if there's like parts omitted and lies and things, then we're probably not going to trust you ever again. And I know it's embarrassing, but I swear to God, and and we'll probably be kind of angry at you for like being an asshole to Zion at some points down the line, but we will forgive you in time. You know what I mean? And you really don't want to, don't want that. I don't want that to happen to you. I don't want that to happen to us, right? You understand?
Yes.
That's why I'm telling you, you need to do that.
Right.
And we would also like those torn out pages from that journal of things you wanted to talk to Zion about. We want that too.
Okay.
If Hallie's willing, we want your private messages over your phone as well. And with Zion, you and Zion together, and we want your phone messages to Zion and vice versa as well.
Uh, fair enough. I haven't talked to Zion hardly
But
anything, so it'd
if you
only
can
be one
provide that,
screenshot.
if
Yeah,
you
it would
can
only be one
provide those
screenshot.
things, if you could provide those things, and we talk it over, and it seems like it is just a misunderstanding, then I think that even Zion will be able to forgive you in time. Okay.
I think
But
Zion, as far as
if you
I've known
paste
him,
those things and it shows that you're like lying about it, you know what I mean, and lying about things and omitting things,
Mm-hmm.
then you're probably going to end up. Well, you will definitely lose your friends over this, and I don't want that to happen at all. And I was really pissed off, and I flamed a lot, and I like, you know,
he
memed
couldn't
it and
believe
was
it.
like an asshole. And I said constantly to Zion, if it weren't Noah, I would say that I said this. I at some, for a few days thought that you were like fucking with her and like fucking, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I said that if it were any other man other than Noah, I would have just instantly said leave both of them because they are fucking around on you, right?
I was
Mm-hmm.
there to witness that. He did say that.
And Zion did not think that you two were even that. He's more mad over you being an asshole and not considering like his feelings about the whole situation
As
and
well as
not being
poor
responsive, not
communication.
yes, that's like the main thing. And everyone's pretty much mad at you for that. Okay, but if you just say you're sorry for like, not communicating things well, it will work out. And if your story is like lines up with what we have, the evidence, then we'll probably believe you. And it's just some weird mix up. You know what I mean? Fucked up mix up.
Yes.
I'm telling you, if you can do those things, if you can paste your private chats and your private messages, and you're with Zion and with Hallie and all that, then maybe things can work out. There might be like one more stipulation. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the one more stipulation I thought about coming before this is just to like not talk with Hallie, right?
Well,
At least,
fair enough.
at least
That's not
for the
going to happen.
time being. Stay
I
for the
I
time
think
being. It
I
would
told
be good
Lachlan
to.
I'm not going. Well, it might help a little bit, but I'm not going to. If that's like asking me to like give up fucking. I don't know. It's like asking me to give
if
one of
it
you guys.
was I think that if it was only that you two were friends, maybe Hallie could still somehow be involved, but I mean, I don't know. I'd have to talk it over. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I
My
really want things to work out here. I really don't want things to be fucked up.
just in the interest of Zion and appeasing him, I believe it would be in the best interest to not maybe stop communications for a while and then slowly reintroduce yourself back into the group. Sort of like,
But
okay,
I think you
it's like if we
gotta like
continue with D&D, like, yeah, we're all together. It's like everybody's talking, blah blah blah. It's like you talk with Hallie, so on and so forth, and then it just sort of re-picks back up from there, and you'd have to like talk with Zion with that to figure that out.
And
Right.
you really need to have some sort of moderated talk. Okay, I suggest Cameron as a moderator between you
Right.
and Zion, or me, or someone that you trust, right?
Yes.
Since
All of those things are going to, there's like the possibility, every day that people have more time to be pissed off about this, including yourself, obviously, right? If you don't think you did anything wrong, you'd be pissed, and you are, right? Every day that is like taken and wait is makes it a lot worse.
it
You know what
festers.
I mean?
Yes.
And we have more and more time to dissect everything that you say, every like mannerism, even into things that are said into hate and piss us off more. You understand?
Yeah.
So I really don't want that to go down like that. We need all of those, like you need to just like copy and paste every message or like screenshot every message or something like that, right?
I
And
mean,
don't
yeah.
omit anything. And then if that's all lining up and you're not lying about things, you're not omitting things, then it could still work out. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
I'm gonna have to talk to the, we're gonna have to talk privately as well. But it's like, Zion is pissed off, and I would also be extremely lividly pissed off if I experienced things from his side.
From both
Yeah.
sides, I see the merits
And I
of how
understand how
they
you just
feel.
think it's, and I understand from your perspective how you wouldn't think it was a big deal, but I mean, I'm telling you, it is a big deal, and it's got to be handled like really carefully and diplomatically, or it's gonna just like fall to shit. And I don't want that to happen.
Mm.
Okay. And I was really
Yeah.
pissed off, and I was flaming and like being like angry, like really angry. But now I just want things to work out. And but I'm telling you, pretty much everyone's on Zion's side at this moment. So I think
Uh.
that
I
apologies
Yeah.
and evidence can convince people to, forgive you over that
I am
Mhm.
if it
trying
works
to
out.
say as neutral as I possibly can to at least observe both sides of the story, and
Well,
once everything
definitely don't like start dating Hallie is another thing,
yeah,
right?
that
You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
be like really bad. That would
that
look so bad.
that's not only
That's a
stabbing in
checkmate.
the back, that is the twisting of the knife as well as poison. That
You just want
is
to like remain friends, maybe just like let things cool down, and then you could be friend, like go on trips and stuff, like not now, right? And
Mhm.
just don't start dating her, because if you do that, then it's just checkmated and it's just unrepairable,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
I want things to work out. I'm reiterating that point because it's true, and I think that they still can. But God, you got to handle things really carefully and not lie, especially is important.
Right. Right.
And
Fair enough.
and Zion, he pasted all of like the DMs too. So and we have them.
Hell, how much fucking DMs is there? Because he hardly sent me anything. Eh?
Yeah, yeah. Well, we have like all of his
Mhm.
text as well.
All of his text
We
to
made him
like
go over his
who? He
statement.
hasn't even
Like
texted me.
we have his text to Hallie, all of them.
Oh, about it. Okay. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
We have all of them recorded and saved. We have a timeline with dates and timestamps, and we have a timeline with all that stuff.
Uh
Now, there's one more question I wanted to ask. It's
Sure.
about the gift for Hallie, the piss
Yep.
bucket.
the
Yep.
piss buck.
Now,
What about it?
now, were those like stencils and bows and stuff you picked up with Cameron on that day? And Rocco, was that for that?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Okay.
ended up making that fucking thing with it. I
Why
told you.
did you why did you seem upset when they asked about it? I think your words were,
Did I seem
let's
upset?
see.
You
Your
were
exact words are recorded.
you
Cameron
were
said that you
very
said,
livid. Well, not necessarily livid, you were extremely agitated that we wouldn't stop asking about it because it was just
Because
gnawing
you
at the
were
back of our
annoying.
Can you guys not think about something for 5 minutes? Is what Cameron said you
Yes.
said.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I said exactly that because it was absolutely god awfully annoying having Cameron stand next to me every 2 fucking minutes asking me what it was about whenever it didn't really matter that much what it was about. It was a fucking meme gif, right? So that's why.
I mean, you
Yeah,
all that could have been said was like it's for a meme, and we would have backed off.
it's just weird that you wouldn't like, because I was trying to put myself in that position where it's like, if I was just making a meme gift, I would have been like, oh yeah, it's just a meme gift for like Hallie or whatever. We were just hanging. But it's just like it's weird because it seems like you're not trying to hide that you're going with Hallie places and shit. You know what I
Um,
mean?
I, I guess that I could have thought that you guys would have seen it to be strange, right? Because I mean, I know that you guys didn't have that high of an opinion of her. So I mean, you know,
Yeah, I don't have a high opinion of her. I don't really
I
yes,
have a lot of an opinion in the first place.
Yeah, I
yes.
hardly even know her besides out of like character from D&D, so as far as I know, she's just your run-of-the-mill person.
Hmm.
I mean, I think that she's very fake, personally. She
There
just seems fake to me.
I think there's definitely some like facade about her, but I don't think it's very much, just a little bit more than the average that you might put up with like a social gathering.
I mean, she supposedly has BPD, according to Zion, borderline personality,
I mean,
which means she kind of just like, tries to make people like her by changing like her personality to whoever's around her, essentially.
s- that's just a people pleaser.
Yeah, but like the mental illness version of it.
Huh. I didn't know that there was a mental illness version of it compared to
But
like social
other
thing.
than what I have seen like of her, you know what I mean? I don't know like a lot about her other than what I've told. So,
Yeah.
Yes, uh, which is why I will be on the mountain. I'll be on the mountain of things that Zion has told us about her. I don't believe. I,
it's
like
just kind of
certain
hard to
specific
accept
things.
that.
I don't believe.
It's just
It
hard
is
to
hard to
accept
accept that
that
whenever
when you've only known her
you
for like a week.
uh it I for one, I'd like to think that I'm a fairly good judge of character, eh? And
Hmm.
I mean, it's just I just don't I just don't get that feeling of those things. And from what she told me, which is contradictory to Zion, and the way that she told me things about Zion that were true and ended up being instantaneously true, I'm even more inclined to believe her. Right? So, I mean, I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't just believe that, like, fucking God, that she's just this unempathetic person that Zion brings his problems to, and she just shoots him down every 5 seconds because she's an extremely caring person. So it's just, I mean, if that makes sense, hey, that's a whole other thing in and of itself, right? About everything, right? So, yeah. What do you think?
Well, it's just really difficult for me to believe that Zion's like some kind of like extreme liar about that,
Um,
because it's like there's no like motive for him to like lie about that, because it would just make things worse for him. Like, I don't understand why that would be the
uh,
case.
so I would think the exact same way in her situation,
Hmm.
right? I would think the exact same way about her. Why would she, you know, why would she make up these things, like about Zion, and stuff like that, just to like, fucking. I mean, God, they were together for 5 years, right? I mean, Jesus Christ, you'd think that after some fucking point, it's just like, you probably wouldn't do that, right? But I don't know. Fucking, I, I just think that after a certain point in the relationship, it really wasn't love, quote unquote, per se. It was just like kind of for Zion at least, I think it was kind of just a familiarity type thing for him, eh, of
Yeah.
doing it and why he did it, which you know, is is fucked, right? I think because from the way that she described to me feeling about Zion and everything like that, is that she did genuinely care about him, and she wouldn't have said the things that she told me otherwise, in my opinion, right?
Yep.
But whenever I talk with Zion about that same type of stuff, it's just like him complaining, right, about things or him, doing these types of things or whatever. It's just like he's describing someone to me literally that would sit in front of me and act the exact opposite way from the way that he described, right? And then whenever we go to talk to him about it and bring, like put challenge onto it, he instantaneously got pissed off and defensive about it, us calling him, on it, right? So it just makes me think that he embellishes shit, out the fucking roof, or he just lies about things. Right?
Yeah. Well, I tell you, it's all just a he said, she said, he said, right?
Yes.
So we need those DMs, and just don't admit anything, even if it's like embarrassing and personal. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
and we'll talk it over. We'll have like when everyone's here, we'll talk it over more, and you know,
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes.
Fair enough.
I'm going. I'm
Fucking,
going to get a Coke. Okay,
yeah.
I'll be right back.
I need to fucking get off here and go to sleep soon, but I can do that. Okay. So
Yeah.
Okay, if you could do that, then there's a really good chance things will work out.
Yeah.
uh yeah.
Okay,
All right.
All right. Well,
I'll see you.
fair enough.
Good night.
Yes. Good night.
Yeah. Night.
Well, that went better than I thought it was going to.
Yeah. I'm really
Hope for his
happy
sake
you.
that he doesn't omit things.
Yeah. I'm really happy how you swung around for your opinion on the whole thing. I was trying to get you to see that through like subtleness.
Yeah, well, I was extremely pissed off.
I know. I was
I still
trying,
sort of am.
which is completely understandable.
I want things to work out.
Yeah.
I hope to God for his sake that those DMs aren't edited. If they are, he's basically over.
Yeah. Let's pop in the
That's why I stressed it so many times.
yeah. Let's pop in the feels bad chat and bring Zion in. He's currently on.
Yeah, let me get a Coke first. Be back.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and switch over to chat.
Yep.
Great.